Okay, so what I'd like to just do is show you in this video how you can make a performance graph for your sales team based on how well they're doing at Gap, Guard, on units, Smart Insurance, Tire and Wheel, all that kind of stuff. So it's really so you can see how they're ranking against their sort of competitors in the team, and also if you want to sort of use it for reviews or anything along those lines. But in order to do that, what we will need to do is access the Automotive Systems UK website or TCF portal, get a report out of it, and then drop it into an application such as the one you can just see here on the screen that says in the middle AS Master 8, but we'll come back to that in a minute. What we're going to do is just show how you can very quickly create the report. So you click into login. I mean, some of you, to be honest with you, you're going to know how to do this anyway because you probably use the report anyway. Go to F&I Reports Dealer, go up to All Sales Team Performance, give it a click. Okay, and then you'll get a screen that comes up that looks a little similar to mine. The only thing that I'm a little bit different is I can select all the different dealers that we have here. So I'll just select the first one that comes to mind, which is Nissan Tunbridge Wells. And where you've got the period, you've got all sorts of different options. But I'm going to select last month. We're in the month of August at the minute, but last month means that it will be July's performance. So it'll give me that data, but it will also give me January up to July, so I can see how well people are doing across the year. So the graphs that I'll make will just be based on the full year as to how well everybody's doing. The export type is going to be Excel, really important, because that's obviously going to make it easy for us to copy it into the application that we built for you. Hit the old report button, and then what it basically does is it puts all of the information up on the screen. But if what we're actually really wanting is the Excel data, so you'll see that it's built it just here. So if it hasn't, sometimes it has a little download option just at the top here, and if all else fails, hit the control button and then J, and you can see here it show you the latest download. So you just click that and it would open up the Excel. But seeing as it had already downloaded it, oh, it's disappeared now, so I'm going to have to do that. So Control J, that's a little shortcut. Let's just open that up. And then what that will do basically is it'll put a little, are you sure you want to open it? You know, yes, I want to open it. Don't worry about what you're seeing in the background now, that's only an Excel that I've already got open. The application and this spreadsheet, both of which, whenever they enable, you must enable editing, because there's macros in the one that builds the graph, and obviously just to help you copy and do things, you'll need to do that. So the first set of data is sort of telling us really how well that dealership has done up to and including July. Okay, so this is all July. If you go down to the bottom, it will give you information on how well they've done year to date, or how well the sales team have done. So we want the total section, so you can see that it gives it to you by used, it gives it to you by new, but we want total. So what we're going to do is highlight not the actual subjects, the titles at the top. We're going to go to the first person, highlight them all the way over to the other pen section, go to the bottom, okay, and you literally go right click copy, or you can go Control C, click on copy. Now what we do is we're going to go to our yellow file, okay, and we must make sure that we open this one here where it says Master Add-on 8. That will be for most of you. Some of you have got 15 salespeople in your team, so obviously we built a bigger one for you guys. So let's just give this AS8, Automotive Systems 8, meaning 8 sales execs, a double click, and you can see here that it automatically opens. Now just very quickly, I'm going to show you what all of this data is at the minute, but I just want to put all of my data into here. It says here paste your copied report from AS Systems into box D10. So if I click in there, you can see just at the top, just up here, it's got D10, cell D10. Well, that's effectively where we must always paste the data. So you can click into it, go right click and then paste, and boom, it goes in. You don't have to do that. You can, if you want to, just click into that cell and click Control V, and it does the same thing, so either or. So whether you paste that information first or you do this top sort of instruction, which I'm going to give you right now, first, it's up to you. Completing this bit is a one-time event, so once you've completed it, save your master file, and then at least the information's in there automatically, because this is what we sort of set as targets for our sales teams. So each of you will have your own target or what your expectation is. If you remember, I did say that we're in the month of August, but I'm going to do it for the month of July, so year to date, so beginning of the year, January all the way up to July. So it's up to you. I don't know how many units you want to target your salespeople to do, but let's just say, for example, you are targeting them in normal times to do maybe 12 units a month, and we're at the end of month 7. So 12 sevens are 84, so that's 84 units that they've done. I mean, I've pre-populated these just in the interest of saving time, but if you sort of thought, well, no, I want my boys and girls, they've got to do at least 50% gap penetration. I want 35% tire and wheel. Yeah, I'm happy with SuperGuard. Smarts, yeah, I guess I'm happy with 40. Service plan penetration, I want to see 65% penetration on service plans. So these are our targets. Once you've done that, you just press the save button at the top, so they're saved and it's all done. You'll notice there's another one here for warranty. For most of the franchise brands, you won't need to worry too much about that because a lot of you don't sell warranties. But for Drive Now, yes, they do. So for Drive Now, you'd want to put a target in there, 45%, and then you'll go to this section here. I'm actually going to delete that just for the minute, but you get the idea. So what you put into this next section, and you'll see why a bit later when I show you all the graphs, is what you pop into here is what the salesperson is physically paid for the product. So if for Gap they get 35 quid, that's fantastic. Tire and Ally, 35 quid. You might get a little bit more for SuperGuard, £40. Smart, 35 quid. I don't know, Gap might be 40. I don't know, depends on the brand that you're working for. So you pop in all of those service plans. I think some people get 20 quid on those as well, and then again save it, because you won't have to do this every time. It's a one-time event. All we really want you to do is just take the information from the report that you get from AS Systems, copy it, and then boom, drop it into cell D10, which is the really important one, which is just there. Once we've done that, we then click the graphs and it will give us the information that we want. However, because this is live dealer data, what I really would like to do is just go to one that I made earlier, which is a test template. So it's just a smaller dealership that I've pretended effectively to do here. I put in very similar sort of performance figures, so let's just put the gap penetration up, we'll put the the tire and wheel pen up a little bit. Other than that, we're happy with most information. We click view graphs, and you can see here that for these salespeople it's built of graphs. It's got some blanks because it can go all the way up to 8, but I don't like graphs that are higgledy-piggledy. So if you actually click the sort graphs tab, it puts them into order, so it means that it makes it very easy for you to look at the graph. So it's a nice little wedge now, so we can see that the top performer is sales exec C and the worst performer is sales exec D. This red bar, which will appear on all of the graphs, which you can see, the red bar is the target bar that you set. If you remember, we said for units we want to see that by this time in the year they should have done I think it was 84 units. Yes, it is. So click on this. By the way, you can go back to data entry by clicking the macros back to the graphs. So therefore it's sitting at the 84 line. So if a sales executive is under that, then obviously one of two things has happened. They've either underperformed as a salesperson, or it just might be that they joined after January of this year. So they won't necessarily have done as many units. But it's just a sort of a litmus test. Then we move down, and it's got the one for return to invoice protection. So again, we wanted to see 50% penetration. This sales exec is over. That's happy days. But these guys have got a little bit of work to do to get to the target of 50%. And again, you can just see that the same thing happens there for SuperGuard. And most of them are below the 50% target bar, which is a little bit of a challenge. We've got to get them up, especially these two boys and girls just here. And then we go down to Smart, and you can see where they're performing. The next one is the warranty penetration. You can see that's an empty graph. The only reason it's empty is because this particular dealership isn't targeted, but for Drive Now, yes, that would be filled out. Okay, so for tyre and wheel penetration, we can see here that the team seems to be doing well. This guy, sales exec A, they're doing quite well, but they're not reaching the 35% target bar. 9%, really, really low performance. Okay, so let's move down to service plans. This we targeted 65%. Sales exec C is on their way. Sales exec A, really good performance. But a bit of opportunity here. Now, I think it's also true to say, God damn, what is also true to say is that let's take sales exec C. If sales exec C for, I don't know what we're looking at here, tyre and wheel, if sales exec C had actually done their targets performance based on the units that they'd done, so instead of doing 18% penetration, done the 35%, then it's obvious they would have sold more product, which means they would have earned more money. It's exactly the same with the Smart. If we look at sales execs D and C and B, well, all of them to be fair, if they'd actually hit the 40% bar, which was our target bar, then that is what they effectively they would have then sold more product, they would have earned more money. So the very last graph at the bottom, if I just go to the bottom here, and just find it, there it is, lost income. What this is actually saying is that sales exec C, because that salesperson has not hit the required sort of target, they're a bit off the pace on some of the products. This bottom graph looks at their pay structure, which you, if you remember back to data entry, you typed in how much pay that they were getting per product, and effectively it works out how much money they've lost by not hitting the target requirement. So sales exec C, effectively £3,600. Now, some of these other guys and girls down here, you'd think, oh well, look, there's only £1,000 or so across 7 months, that's probably not too bad, Well, maybe not, but why is their performance low here? Sorry, their income, lost income low. Well, they're either doing very well on add-on products, or if we go to the top, some of them haven't done very many units because they joined the company, quite recently. So at the moment, we're kind of saying, well, look, our bigger hitter here, who's done 123 units, he or she is the one effectively that's losing the most amount of money. But what happens when all of these boys and girls come up to do the same sort of performance as sales exec C? Will they be much the same, or will they be worse? You can actually do a little quick check here, because what you could do is say, well, look, let's say the sales team are targeted to do 144 across the whole year. Let's just put 144 in for each salesperson. So what we're really saying here is, let's assume they all do 144, which is their target. Based on their current performance, sales exec C was the problem person before. Will they still be the problem? No, it's gone to sales exec D. So sales exec D, who currently or was on relatively low units, has got potentially a big problem. Now, crudely speaking, if you times these numbers by 4, that's how much we're losing in terms of income. So quite a lot of money. So sales exec D, across a year, £7.5 grand, Jeepers Creepers. Sales exec C, by the time they reach December, that's £4,200. So really, just to do a little bit of extra, during your sales process, get your hooks in, do your presentation, it's going to make a world of difference on your performance. If we just go down to this last little grid, you can see the sales execs in here, sales exec A's, B's, C's, that kind of stuff. Well, you can actually look, if you wanted to look at sales exec C and thought, well, where is his biggest opportunity? I just expand that a little bit more. You can see here that which one is the biggest. Oh, guard. Right, so the best thing to do is go to sales exec C and really work on super guard. Don't try and fix everything at once. And then next biggest one would be tire and wheel, then try and fix that, and then it would be a mix between service plans and smart protection. But it's up to you how you want to manage it, but I'm just saying it's a very quick way of being able to get some meaningful graphs. Everyone can see where they're performing, assuming you want to do it, hand them out at a sales meeting, or you could do it as a one-to-one, so it's entirely up to you. That's basically how it works. Any queries, then you can give us a shout. Thank you for watching.